have like ChatGPT that anyone can start coding, anyone can start building new things. You know, with internet, you can reach any part of this planet Earth.
Can anyone?
Of course.
Anyone can just start building new things with ChatGPT that's going to help older people and make them a millionaire?
One of the rules is like you need to be able to like dream it. Like if you want a private jet and you cannot tell me what's the color of the seat, you're not gonna get private jet. You need to build it here.
Whether Facebook has been a positive for society or not.
100% it has been positive. 100%.
Not 100%.
100% is a net positive.
It's January 16, 2025. This is Roqe. Well, hi there. Welcome to episode 356 of Roqe. I'm Jian Ghomeshi. Hello to you from Toronto. Hello to you from Canada. Salam Dustan Aziz. Durud bar shoma. Hope you're doing well wherever you're tuning in from around the world. Really quite energized about our guest that we have in the Roqe Studio this week. Probably one of the most consequential Iranians under the age of 40 in terms of the impact he has had on people around the world in our diaspora. Martin Basiri is his name. Martin Basiri is our guest. And this is an interview we did here a couple of days ago. And it is chock full of ideas, full of provocation, information, adoration, and debate. Martin is a remarkable young entrepreneur, a business leader, an inventor, and a self-described tech nerd who grew up in Shiraz and has really been tearing it up here in North America in the last few years, particularly with a tech company he started with his brothers called Apply Board. And this Apply Board has grown into a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. He now has a new company as well called Passage. And I encourage you to stick with this interview in which he shares all kinds of insights into what he believes makes for a successful entrepreneur, someone who can live life passionately and also make a lot of money. We do have some disagreements about his contention that anyone can be a millionaire, and some of his beliefs that I disagree with, but he's just so full of strong energy, full of experience and insights. You don't want to miss this. It was a great animated conversation. I look forward to you checking it out in the coming minutes here. But before we get to this interview, let me just remind you, Roqe Live 4 is coming. It's been announced. The tickets are now on sale. This is where we do the Roqe show as a variety program in front of a live audience in a theater. And there's this beautiful, quite large theater called the City Playhouse Theater that's just north of Toronto in Thornhill. Thursday, February the 6th, 2025, 3 weeks from today. Thursday, February the 6th, 2025, Roqe Live 4, our fourth edition of the live version of Roqe. Shohre Aghdashlu will be joining us on stage for an onstage interview and to be the recipient of the Roqe Media Icon Award. Fardad Farahzad, Dang Show, Siamak Mer, Ghazal Piano with Anahita Nayabi dancing. Mahsam Mortazavi joins Pega Ganji, our own Pega, for a Roqe Roundtable. Blanche Echo is DJing all night. You don't want to miss this lineup. You don't want to miss Roqe Live 4. Tickets are on sale right now. Check out our bio on Instagram. So if you go to Roqe Media on Instagram, you can just link to the tickets from our bio or from our website, roqemedia.com. roqemedia.com. That's Roqe Live 4, February 6, 2025. All right, let's get to our feature interview recorded here in the Roqe Studio this week. Here we go. Okay, so what are the ingredients that make for a successful entrepreneur? Does anyone have the ability to become a titan of technology or a captain of a big corporation? And what are the lessons learned by someone who's at the top of the game and is still in his mid-30s? Martin Basiri is an Iranian-Canadian visionary entrepreneur, co-founder of Apply Board, and founder and CEO of Passage. He was born and raised in Shiraz. Martin's journey began as an international student himself, studying engineering at Waterloo University in Canada. He says his personal experiences navigating the complexities of the education system inspired him to create Apply Board in 2015 alongside his brothers, an education technology platform that simplifies the application process for international students seeking to study abroad. Under his leadership, the platform built into one of the fastest growing startups in Canada, a multi-billion-dollar company helping thousands of students worldwide access global educational opportunities. Martin also founded Passage in 2023. Passage aims to address Canada's labor shortage by removing the financial barriers to immigration faced by skilled workers and students in fields like cybersecurity, healthcare, and tech. Right now, Martin Basiri joins me in the Roqe Studio. Hello, sir.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Really nice to have you here.
Thank you.
And I feel I must say, I as an Iranian Canadian, I'm proud of you. You are somebody that we look at and say wow, or vow in Persian, as we would say. You've done great things.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You at the age of 36,
Correct.
I would describe as a wildly successful entrepreneur. How do you feel about that designation, wildly successful?
Nothing even close. I should have been way more impactful for the universe by now. I think I tried my best. I learned my lessons, and I don't call myself wildly successful.
How about successful?
I don't think I call myself.
You're being serious right now?
The thing is, you have to see like what it could be, and it's not what it is.
Well, that would be a prescription for disaster, wouldn't it? If you spend the whole time, if you win the game 10-0 and say, well, it could have been 11-0. That reminds me of growing up with Persian parents saying, you got an A+, but it could have been A++, right?
No, it's like art. It's actually the other way.
Okay.
When you're thinking about the potential of everything, including where you can be in life, right? The potential of your impact, the potential of your art. There's no end to it. And actually thinking about it doesn't create a disaster. It creates happiness. It creates joy of doing the process. It creates joy of the struggles. Where you think about you're getting closer to where it is. And to be honest, every as you go forward, the vision and the mission and everything also get bigger. So I'm always more distant to where I want to be as even I go forward.
Okay, look,
and
I'm not going to start the interview by browbeating you about whether you're successful or not. And what you're saying appeals to me so much in terms of the ambition, the industriousness of someone who has done what you've done, still saying, I've got so much further to go. But objectively, you can see that you're successful, right? I saw you in one interview say only 1% of the population of the world makes more than $32,000 a year. You're way past that. So can't we objectively say wildly successful?
Let's call it. I can cut in the middle with you and agree on successful, not widely successful.
Thank God. We can describe Martin Basiri as successful. Do you think the qualities that you have that make you so dynamic in building companies and ideas, and the qualities that have made you very wealthy as well, do you think those are innate or that those are learned?
I think it's learned. Because I can see what I didn't know, and now I know, and the stuff that I wasn't doing, and now I'm doing. For example, one of the things that I can do right now, I can tell a story. I can tell people my vision and what I built. I can describe it to people. I'm still not where I want to be, but I'm doing a decent job on it. But when you go, for example, when I remember when I was 15 years old, and I invented this tool to measure very, very small things, like a micrometer, but I used a different technology, and I was like competing in Khwarazmi festival. So when I went to defend my invention in front of like 30 judges, and they were asking me these hard questions, and I knew those answers, but the fact that I couldn't express to them the answers, I couldn't speak. I built very, very complex circuits and mechanical devices, but I couldn't explain it. And I just cried in front of like 30 people. And but I learned over time how to completely change that mentality and how to be able to get in front of people and present what
Yes,
I
but
built.
let's not miss the forest for the trees. You're a 15-year-old competing as an inventor. I mean, part of the reason I asked the question is because I love to believe in socialization rather than that things are determined in one's DNA. But I also think you're famously another one of these genius kids who at the age of 10 in Shiraz was inventing things. That's just not what most kids, most boys at the age of 10 are, watching TV or playing with action figures or hanging out in the schoolyard or whatever, and you're inventing things. Is that all learned?
So my father had a huge impact in my life, like from very early age. I can tell you the both side of the answer, and my answer yet I don't know.
So it's not just learned.
So my father exposed me to hard electrical engineering and science at a very, very early stage of my life. Like at 6, I knew how to design circuits, not like complex circuits, but like good. I remember at age of 9, I had to learn a lot of mathematics to be able to like design transistor circuits, right?
Something that most 9-year-olds are doing.
Like something that we learned in electrical engineering in Bachelor of Engineering in year 2 of college, I learned, right? When I went to Shiraz University.
Yes.
But I need to learn it like earlier on to understand, because I needed to like say, I was building a circuit that like the simplest one was like a lamp was blinking, and the speed of that lamp you basically change it by changing the resistor on different part of the circuit. So you need to understand like how to calculate all of that, right? So my dad exposed me, but when I'm asking my dad, hey, why did you do that? He was always like listen, I was always building these new things. My dad was like also a builder, and you happen to really be interested on it, so you learned it yourself because you were just vowed. For me, since I remember, any complex things that I see, it just take me in,
But would any kid
like for example,
have that ability?
arts doesn't do that for me, right? I think there is some stuff, like for example, some people listen to music and just enjoy to another level, and I'm like, I wish I could do the same.
But as much as I believe that we're products of our environment and our parents and all of that, and the traumas and the successes we have as an early kid and all, I still struggle when it comes to like, I don't think you could just teach, enable a kid to become Lionel Messi or Mozart by putting him on the soccer pitch from the age of 2. I just don't think that happens. There's something about certain people that there has to be something innate in it. There has to be something that creates a Martin Basiri where at the age of 10 that the rest of us just are not capable of.
I'm at this point of, I don't know the answer. At this point of my time, I believe that education and exposing people to different challenges and constantly motivating them to go through it, especially children at the earliest stage, have a higher impact than what their essence or something has.
Fair enough.
And I've seen it even like later in life, in the professional life, how I was able to shape a lot of people's mindset, and they've grown very much in their life. Or like, for example, when I won Khwarazmi Festival when I was 18, I started teaching to other high schoolers to compete. And I've seen how, like, quote unquote, normal students, soon they learned coding, soon they were designing, circuits. Soon they were like becoming inventor. So I do believe that you can teach a lot of these things. What I just don't know, that's why I'm not giving you 100% answer, is like I see some people that kind of like don't want to grow more. Like if someone want to grow, you can teach them and you help them.
Yes.
And they have a desire of changing things.
Yes.
Sometimes you see people that they don't want to change it. And I know hormones are playing a big factor in that. Like hormones is everything. Like the amount of serotonin that you have, the amount of like endorphin your body like basically produce. I know those things have a lot of impact, but I'm not educated enough to tell you like everything. But of course, like at the end of the story, the way that we think, our mood, everything's chemical, right? This is a physical matter, it's a science. And those chemical balance is widely important in someone's. So I think to some extent, the physique, the body, the hormones, everything has to be right. But I don't want to like say that's like 90% of it.
Yeah,
I think more
I
than
appreciate
50%
that. I
is the
appreciate the
education.
disclaimers, and I appreciate the nod to socialization, education, all of that. Part of the reason why I'm excited to bring this up is because you and I had a coffee, and you said something to me that I can't stop thinking about to a certain extent. I find it very inspiring. You said anyone can become a millionaire.
Correct.
Which is wonderful. It also sounds like a lovely thing that a rich and successful young entrepreneur can say, but it does stretch credulity that anyone can become a millionaire. Explain it.
Okay, so would it be helpful like I give you a long answer so I tell you a little bit about my life, how I grow up? Because a lot of these things like I learned while growing up and I'm working about it. The short answer to your question is a compound learning. And the compound learning is extremely important. So I started like doing this like things with my dad, building things, and then I started doing them on my own. I started like quote unquote inventing or building the circuits or mechanical tools and stuff. And then at the age of 14, I started like competing for Kharazmi Festival because one of our teachers said like, hey, listen, if you don't want to go and study very well for concours, the university entrance exam in Iran to enter university, you have to invent something and go to Kharazmi Festival. And I didn't know how bad are the odds. Only like at the time that I won, only 13 people among 27,000 people won the chance to enter university without doing the entrance exam. So odds were like crazy low, but I didn't know the odds. So as an ignorant 14-year-old, I started trying and I'm putting like 14, 15, 16 hours a day, including like my schoolwork. Sometimes like the entire weekend when all of my friends, high schoolers, they were going to play PlayStation or they go play soccer, or when we were 17 and 18 they started like their dating life and going to like museum park and like meet girls or socialize and everything else. I was at home and coding and learning and soldering circuits and stuff, and all of that thing compounds. All of that learning compounds.
Of course. But
so when I say everyone can be millionaire, if you put the time, you learn. Because one thing I think our education doesn't do a very good job in the K-12 to teach the people is action create information. Like whatever you do, you are learning something out of it. So if you do even a wrong thing for thousands of hours, you learn a lot out of it, which basically force you to do better.
I believe that, but I have to reframe the question because I think I asked it badly.
Sure.
I really don't think because I'm not saying that any child doesn't have the potential to become successful.
Correct.
Other than if they're in dire poverty somewhere with or educational learning disabilities, whatever. But for the most part, I get that. I get that everyone has the potential as a kid. Where I was coming from, the part that's astounding to me is let's take what I want to know is so there's a 31-year-old barista in Toronto.
That can be a millionaire.
Well, that's what I want to know.
Put ChatGPT in front of
because
you.
that feels like Martin Basiri. That's. I mean, we've seen those growing up. TV ads. You could become a millionaire.
Yes.
Just follow my formula, and you'll. And I just don't. I don't know if that's true.
It is very true.
Okay.
So
how is that true for the 31-year-old barista?
Especially right now, it's way easier even than 5 years ago. Like, look at the AI alone. You can just look at around you, like how many problems this world has. Like, we have a country that median age is 42 years old. So we have 50% of the population, over 20 million people in this country are age 42 and after, right? There are a lot of elderlies. They need time. Like, go talk to them, see their needs, and you have like ChatGPT that anyone can start coding, anyone can start building new things. With internet, you can reach any part of this planet Earth.
Can anyone?
Of course.
Anyone can just start building new things with ChatGPT that's going to help older people and make them a millionaire?
That's like the older people is one idea. They're like, world has
well, they have to have the ideas first.
Well, right? I just gave you one idea.
Well, you're Martin Basiri. I mean, of course, you have the ideas. I know you've done it.
Ask ChatGPT, give you like hundreds of ideas. No, I'm very serious about it. Like, it's like no idea is good at the start. You pick one idea.
Okay.
You work 15, 16 hours constantly on it. When you pursue that idea, you keep learning better ideas. I was an electrical engineering student that building electrical, mechanical, and software tools. The companies that made me like famous and work well and become over 1,000 employees was completely a software
but
company.
Martin, if the ChatGPT says, open a flower shop.
No, you don't ask it that way. You're like,
okay, what do you ask it?
For example, you say, for example, you ask, the first important thing about a business is money, right? Because a business has to earn money.
Yes.
So you say, for example, show me the wealth by age group. It shows you that how much wealth is in 80 plus people. That's for example, that's why I gave you that idea, because it's so undertapped.
Yeah.
Servicing people that are 80 years and older.
Okay.
But they have an enormous amount of wealth, right? They accumulated wealth for 80 years, but they need help right now the last 20 years or 30 years of their life. So then you're like, okay, what are their needs? You just go to a retirement home and you start talking to like 50 people. You get 30 ideas.
Okay.
Ideas doesn't just grow on a tree.
Give me an example of one of their needs.
Like, for example, companionship.
Okay, companionship. So let me start a company that provides companionship.
Food. Travel. Socialization.
And let's work 16 hours a day.
Yes.
There's no guarantee that's going to become a multi-million-dollar business.
Guess what? Nothing in the world is guaranteed.
Well, that's the point. You're saying it is.
The only thing is guarantee is believe in yourself. I can tell you, if you believe in yourself, you can achieve way better in life than what you are about to achieve if you don't believe in self. That's guaranteed.
I believe that. But I also know people, you probably do too, who have stars in their eyes and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to play in the NBA. And you're kind of like, I don't think you are. I'm going to be a famous singer. I'm going to be a billionaire. And they don't have the tools to do it. They're delusional. Am I raining on the parade?
No, I don't think you're correct.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Tell me why.
Like, physical ability is one thing. Like,
yes.
Of course, like,
you can't be in the NBA if you're 4 feet tall. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. But let's talk about the business that is like the thing. Every entrepreneur at the start, when they're talking about their ambition, they're being delusional. And it's not bad, actually. It's okay to be a little delusional. Word of entrepreneurship is so hard. It's so personal. It's so hard and hard and hard. So many times you get rejection. And unless you are being a little delusional, a little like ignorant, if you don't have like absolute self-confidence that I can do it, I'll figure it out, you'll give up.
Yeah, I believe that.
So you think like,
and also if you don't see the goal, you'll never get it. If you can't envision where you want to go, you won't go there.
You have to envision something.
Yes.
That something keep changing. But you need to be able to clearly say, if like I have 5 like I spoke like when University of Waterloo gave me the engineering medal of the alumni engineering medal.
But
I
you're
gave
not
this
successful.
speech.
But go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, but one of the rules is like you need to be able to like dream it. Like if you want a private jet and you cannot tell me what's the color of the seat, you're not gonna get private jet. You need to build it here. You know, if you say I want to help 1 million people and you can't imagine the smile of those students, you're not gonna be able to do it.
And can everyone do that? Can everyone imagine that?
I think so.
You do?
Like I think healthy people can do that. I think the society, here's a one rule that I think everyone have to like understand. If you want to be top 1% successful, you should not listen to the other 99%. You should live like the 1%. So you can't listen to average.
I know, but I feel like it's I get that too, and I like I'm saying what you're saying and who you are. I find very inspirational, and at the same time, there's part of it. There's just a little part of it that makes me go, "This is unfair." It's unfair to tell people you can become a millionaire if not everybody can.
Like it's my belief. Like if they're healthy and in a country like Canada. You can become a millionaire by doing anything. You can become a millionaire going to offices, just organize their computers and organize their things that are sitting around the office. Go any company you go to their CEO says, "Are you happy how like your employees lay out everything everywhere?" They're like, "No, I want things to be decent." You can be a millionaire. Like $1 million is not that much to earn if you put 15 hours in something.
You're going to become a millionaire by organizing the computers at
you go, but then like inside those companies you meet people, and then you get exposed to the better ideas, and then those ideas get you further, and then those ideas get you further and further and further. That's like how my life was always like, you do something and during that you learn something, you meet people, and then you go. The thing is, people in the society love hard-working, honest people.
Yes.
So when you go to a company and hustle and you work your best for, let's say, $20 an hour to organize everything, you'll be noticed. And
yes,
they open the door for you.
I agree with that. I agree with that. 100%.
And
especially in the fields that I've been in, music or media or communications, or I always tell people, it's so easy to go to ascend quickly in this business if you work hard and you're willing to put your nose down and not complain and just work your ass off. It's so easy. I do agree with that. One of the things
that's why, like, if like a 17-year-old or 14-year-old ask me what's the best advice you can give me, I say, whatever you do, put every single part of your body and mind into it. Even if you're cleaning driveway of people, do it with joy. Do it as is your art. Pay attention to detail. You'll be noticed. And that's what is I keep calling luck. Like you were like talking the last time. So like, hey, I'm the luckiest human being on planet Earth. Because when you do it, people notice it, and then that person said, wow, this kid is doing it, and someone else said, I'm looking for a kid like that.
But you also take things, Martin, you take things and you see them as opportunities that other people see as disadvantages. One of the things that you've said that I appreciate is you've said growing up in Iran was hard.
Yeah.
And hard is good.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that attitude, because I can tell you, whether it's my friends or people I know or the people who've sat in that chair, oftentimes people will say growing up in Iran was hard, and therefore I'm at a disadvantage in life because that's where I grew up, as opposed to in Canada or the U.S.
That's how I was thinking as well.
So what changed?
So when I came to Canada, like at the age of 18, I won the Kharazmi Youth Festival. I basically I got like number 2 among like 27,000 inventors in the world. I entered what I wanted to enter, University of Shiraz, electrical engineering. and they gave me a big room as a first year college student with a lot of equipment to just invent and build. And up to age of 18 at home, when I wanted to code for a long time, always my parents were like, oh, like you can't be on a computer for too long. And now for the first time in my life, I felt like I'm completely like free. I can sit down for like 18 hours. If I don't need to sleep, I was just like, so I just don't sleep. For 2 or 3 nights a night, a week, I was staying in college, in university, in my room. As a first year college room, college student, I had like a computer that university gave me, and I was coding till morning. I was building design, or I was like, it was like middle of the night, or I was singing and playing music. I was feeling I'm the king of the world. And around the 3rd year, when I wanted to compete internationally, and actually we got lucky and we became like a gold medal in Switzerland for one of our inventions. That's when I started like getting exposed to what other 21-year-old students doing it, and I felt like I'm way behind. I have good ideas, but like the amount of technologies that, for example, they have access in America. Like, for example, here in Iran, if we wanted to make it, because of sanctions, if you wanted to make it this circuit, I needed to build everything from scratch. In America, you just go and you just order it. So all that amount of time that I needed to build every single thing from scratch, in here you just hack things and you can achieve bigger things. So I was always like bothered by it. And when I came to Canada, which University of Waterloo changed my life, to come to Canada, they paid for my education. I come to get my master's degree in engineering. And when I came, I started like, they gave me day one $44,000 DSP like a device to basically experiment with, to build an electric and hybrid electric car, the engine, the brain. And I was like, $44,000, that's like a 10 years salary of an Iranian engineer. They gave it to someone who, by the way, I couldn't speak English when I came to Canada. I had to go also to English school at the same time in University of Waterloo. And they gave that to me. They trusted me. And I was so careful with it. And I couldn't go home. Like, they gave me this lab that I could just sit and just do work and experiment. And then for the first time, I was able, I don't need to build it. And I can just buy it. And they gave me a budget. I'm getting to your point. I started developing this mindset of like, if I would have born here, I would have been someone very, very more successful. Because between the age of 22 when I came to Canada to age of like maybe 30, I had to start again from scratch. I came to this country with $10,000 Canadian dollar in my pocket.
You're running the race starting 5 meters behind everybody else.
Yes.
That's the way it's been described to me. But.
And I was someone in Iran. I was someone. I sold 6 patents. I was like, I was kind of famous in Shiraz University. I was teaching at in labs in the university. So I came here and I started developing it in my brain, till I started learning how much of those things that I needed to build from scratch, I learned the fundamentals. Now I knew exactly what happens at a microcontroller level, at the circuit level, where other people, they were just seeing it at a black box. Then I was like, wow. So maybe it was good that the whole time I didn't have those things, because I had to build everything from scratch and I learned the fundamental. When I was growing, for example, one of the other things that I learned is like, how much of opportunities are there in Canada, and how much of people who are here, they're not as grateful for it, or they take it for granted. And like for me, I was like happy. I was just happy, and people were not happy and grateful. This is the best country on planet Earth, and people were not happy about it. And they were thinking things. And I went through a very, very hard childhood, and we weren't like rich. We were like maybe middle class to some extent, like lower middle class. But thanks God that we had like both of my parents were like educated, and they were like they care about our education, and they really like nurtured us on that. But as time passed by, and when I started apply board with my brothers, and as past, I recognized that all of that hardship created a honey badger mentality that I don't give up.
Yeah.
I don't give up because the problems that it was bringing on, it wasn't as big as the problems that I went through in my life when I was growing up. You know, business could be hard, but no one gonna come put a gun on your head. I had in Iran, I was like, put gun on my head. No one come and put a knife on your head. I was like, I've experienced that in Iran. Like someone put knife on my throat. So like how hard the business could be. This is nothing. This
But
is like
is
playing in like safe environment, like a business or something, when basically you come from a place that like you've seen death in front of you. And I remember I was 21 when I experienced that. I've seen death. I was like, in 1 second I could be die if the person was like.
But is hard always good? I mean, if I think of the example of a female who wants to sing, who's in Iran and can't get on stage and doesn't move to the West until she's 30 years old and has missed all of those opportunities that a young singer would have here. Can't get on stage in front of a mixed crowd, at least. You know what I'm talking about. I don't know if that kind of hard is good.
I don't think that hard is good. And that's why my mission in life is to make people to get educated and access to opportunities. Like, what I built in Canada wasn't remotely possible to build it in Iran. I would have never been as successful if I was in Iran. I would be somehow successful, but I would have never remotely been that successful. Like, look at the word. Like, in Passage, the first thing that we announced.
This is your new company.
The new
Passage,
company, was we're going to bring 100 girls from Afghanistan that their education is taken away from them, and we bring them to Canada and we put them in different degrees here so they can continue their education. Those type of hards, when opportunity is taken from you, is not good at all. And I think it's on all of us that we can do something about it to fight for those people who don't have those opportunities. And up to now, the last 10 years of my life, I devoted all of my life to be able to help other people access different opportunities.
Let me come back to democratizing education. Just before we leave you in Iran and your journey, talk to me about the importance of mentorship, because if I remember correctly, there's an intervention, there's an inflection point in your life where somebody, I don't know if it was a teacher or somebody, intervenes and creates a moment for you where from there on you can ascend, a mentor. Tell me about that experience.
Yeah. So of course my first mentor in my life was like my dad, and to a lot of extent my mom, for the confidence, and for my dad for the science. And after that, my uncle introduced me to the world of coding. One time I was like playing with my computer, I don't know what I was playing. And he came and said, computer is not for playing games. It's for coding. Let me teach you what you can do. And he was like a PhD in computer science. And I was like, wow. I was 14. And that was my time to get introduced not only to circuit design and building mechanical things, to also coding.
Right.
And I was like, wow, this is powerful what you can do. Remember I told you, like, I went in front to kind of defend my invention, and I cried.
Yeah.
So that night, or maybe the night after, this guy called me, like, shout out to Ehsan Katkhodai. He called me and said, like, come over there, I'll meet you. In fact, he didn't come that day. The whole day I standed in front of his office. And
who was he? He was
he was someone who won Kharazmi Festival like maybe 4 or 5 years before me. He was older. He now had a company at the age of 18. He was like a good inventor. So I sat down.
So he was a young guy too. He was
a young guy.
Okay.
And he started, so like, dude, like, I don't remember every single word, but it was to the extent that, like, you don't know how to talk, do you? I was like, no. Oh, I was defending. I was like, oh, that guy was asking this question. So like, you don't understand it. People have the right to question you. You just need to answer them. And I was like, they were not understanding the technology and the coding and this, blah, blah. And it was like, it's your job to tell them what you built. Do you understand that? And he started like helping me. And at the same time, he was giving me this little task and that task. And I was like, for me, it was like for the first time discovering Wikipedia. So I could ask him questions, I could learn from him, and I could like see how he doing it and confidence that he was carrying himself. And we became like good friends, and we done some projects with each other.
But it's such an interesting thing, because it's not the first thing one would think of, or not even in the top 5 of what's important, you know, in your field. And yet, when I think about it, of course, being able to explain what you have created is paramount, right? But it doesn't. I don't think, you know, if I were to think what are the ingredients of being a successful inventor or something, explaining it doesn't even make the list. Talk to me about why that was such an important realization for you.
Yeah, maybe because it come natural to you. Maybe that's why. Communication doesn't come natural to me, so I have to learn it.
But why is that important in business?
Because there were, I don't know who said that, but they were like, if you cut a tree in a jungle and no one knows about it, that tree never fell. If you do something and you don't tell people, it doesn't happen. Because you never be able to do something big alone. You need people. You need a movement. You need other people to be more excited about what you're doing than even yourself. You need other people's imagination to grow your imagination, and you grow their imagination.
Right.
Always you want things to get together, so you need to be able to communicate with them. And the form of communication is different, right? Some people talk to each other, some people say it, some people like the way that, for example, Bitcoin is created, like through completely like decentralized communication and blogs and written communication. Like, you gotta be able to work with people, and to work with each other, you need APIs. And what is the API of human being? Is communication. You know, maybe down the road we all have a chip in our brain.
Do you practice that?
Of course, I practice that. Like when.
How do you practice that?
I remember when Apply or Grown, 2018, January 2018. It was our first thing that I created, this thing called Vision Meeting. And this is an all-hand mandatory meeting that every single employee.
What was it called? Sorry,
Vision Meeting.
A vision meeting.
Yeah, and I was talking about. Why are we doing this? The why. Forget about what are we doing. Forget about how are we doing it. Why are we doing this? Why are we all here? We are all young people. We can do anything in our life. Why are we putting so much of time and energy to put in this company? And going in front of 30 people was for me way harder than 5 years later when I was talking to 1,500 employees. So I learned and learned and learned and learned and learned.
When you, and what are you doing right now? You're multitasking. You're like running your company while you're doing an interview. This is the Martin Basiri.
That's texting my life. Don't worry, my brain is with you.
So you come to Canada in 2010.
Yeah.
University of Waterloo. By 2015, with your brothers, you invent a plyboard.
Yeah.
I mean, did you have a sense in that, as you were creating that this can be a multi-billion-dollar company?
The financial part of it, the valuation and stuff, didn't come to me natural because $1 billion. First, I came from Iran and I never even seen $1 million, set aside $1 billion. I couldn't even imagine how much money it is. And in the movies and stuff, you like talk about million, even it's so big, versus like set aside like billions, right? But I could imagine the technology part of it. Like, I went through a lot of a struggle to come to Canada, right? All of my friends who came to Canada or US, they went through a lot of a struggle and application. It's so unoptimized and so hard Then I helped my brothers to come, and then we helped their friends, and then we were seeing how much people are willing to pay for it, or how much people are struggling, and at the same time, when we were doing that for someone, how thankful they were that we helped them to find a better option, or to be able even to access education at the first place. So I knew if it's a good technology, it would fly. But I couldn't, like, the whole business model and how much revenue you can make and what's the profit on it, and if you make that much revenue and profit, what would be the valuation of the company in millions and tens of millions and hundreds of millions and then billions of stuff. That I didn't know because I was just a nerd engineer.
So when you say, as you said earlier, you need the vision, you need to know what the color of the seat is in the jet that you're going to, that doesn't include knowing financially where it's going to go, huh?
No, I was just like wanted to do something cool. And the first 3 years, the only thing I care was like customers wants to do it, and like you need to be able to get admission to a school in 1 minute, like instant. I should just give it to you. Like, why do you need to go through all this struggles and everything, right? And then, so that was like what I was building. And then what happened, these students that we were helping, they started coming to Canada. Some of them came to our office, and I remember one time one of them was like, I was about to kill myself. And I was depressed. I wanted to kill myself. I found you guys on Instagram. I came and applied. I came to Canada. Now I'm so happy about my life. I'm distant from my family. I'm building myself. I'm going to gym. I have a girlfriend. I don't want to kill myself. And you saved my life. And it hit me like a bulldozer hitting a wall. It's like, wait a minute. What are you talking about? I didn't do anything. I just like help you to come to Canada to reach your dream of studying in this school. It was like, no, it's more than that. And then you keep hearing, and then I started like around 2 or 3 years in the company. I started realizing, I started loving helping people more than the technology. So I started becoming, it's cool that the technology is cool and you play with the latest cutting edge technology, but it's even cooler when people love it.
Yeah. Or when you see the results of what you're doing in humanity.
Yeah, and it's so addictive. Like, I think like it's so addictive. Like when I see like I can help someone to like achieve their education, and because education is the most powerful tool on planet Earth.
I love your enthusiasm.
You know, like
this is like when you were describing the dorm room in Shiraz when they gave you a bunch of computers and a big room. It was like you're like a kid in a candy store. You're so
like
excited.
Think about it. Like if you allow someone, like University of Waterloo brought me from Iran, put me in that engineering like lab, gave me $52,000 for my education and living cost, so I can go by 2 years. But then out of it, see what they built.
But hang on a second. I think there's two strands here. There's Apply Board I want to ask questions about, or at least 1 or 2 questions. And then there's Martin as the entrepreneur. Let me just go to this one for a second, because Apply Board, from what I understand, 2015 you guys created, it isn't a success overnight. And in fact, you're kind of, you're digging in the trenches for a while. And one of if there's a through line to Martin Basiri in terms of the research that I've been able to do on you, is perseverance, right? You preach it yourself in business and as an entrepreneur.
I don't give up.
Exactly. Perseverance. Where is the line between perseverance and stubbornness? In as much as stubbornness...
Is stubbornness bad?
Well, I guess what I mean by it is stop losing money on your company. It's the time is the read the room, read the writing on the wall, whatever metaphor you want to use. And that person is persevering. Are they persevering, or are they being stubborn to keep going?
It depends. It really depends, because you could call it's very hard to talk about it from outside. Right, to some extent. Like there are some rules, like for example, rule of physics. If you keep telling me I want to like build something that this iPad just float, like you're like, buddy, this is physics. Like the rule of gravity exists. But if something is not, if it's a good idea and there is people are willing to pay for it, so you are solving a real problem. Like you can sit down here and say like, hey, I want to like make this cup from titanium to do this, and it was like, I make this $5,000 cup, and then you're like, buddy, like the cup I want to like drink water.
My friend starts an insurance business,
Yeah.
and goes to the office every day and is working hard at her insurance business. And 3 years in, it's still not making money, but she's working hard, and there's been some progress, and she's persevering, but it also doesn't look like the business is growing, or it looks like it's kind of failing. Where's the line between her perseverance and her just being stubborn on an idea that's not working?
Yeah, so for example, I can tell you the first 3 years of Applyboard was extremely hard, and we were rejected for hundreds of investors to fund the company.
It's part of the reason I ask, because I also read that even by 2018, you actually considered closing it, right?
2016 was basically... it wasn't like considering closing it. It's like people were telling you, I don't think this is gonna work, right? In my mind, I never a single time considered closing it. But you've hit some hard time, then you're like I want to have money. Like if I can't get more money, like then you're forced to it. Otherwise, I would not a single second in my last 10 years.
So how did you know that they were wrong?
I just didn't care. Like I was for a while like sleeping on people's couch, and they didn't have a home in Canada. And when I was coming to Canada, it was just like sleeping on people's couch and sit in the office, sleep in the office, and I just didn't care. I was loving it. Every single second of it, I love it. All of those troubles, all of those rejections, and I don't know the answer to all of your question. Where is the line or something? I'm not prescripting for other people what they should do or what they should not do. I can tell you like what I went through. When people were telling me a no, I was really hearing them, and their rejection, every single rejection, made me a better person, because I truly thought about what they were doing and why are they saying that, and are they smart. And I was like, if a smart person say don't make money this way, I make money this way. If a smart person say I went through your website and I couldn't get over registration, I was like, duh, a user have to be able to register. So I go back to my software developers. I like, why someone couldn't do the registration? I said, oh yeah, like I don't know, sometimes it happened. I said, okay, tell me what's the percentage it happened. Damn, 20% of the time the authentication like things break. Why? Oh, because I wanted to build it this way, not this way. So like, perfect, just build it that way, then the problem solved. Then you inspect what you expect, then you're like, wow, it went to become 99.99% success. So every single person that tell you no, for me, was a gift.
But you have to be incredibly strong, right? You have to
you become a strong.
You have to dig deep, because if people, sometimes people you respect, sometimes people have a lot of experience, and say, yeah, hey buddy, this isn't going to work.
It hurts.
Yeah,
it hurts.
So how do you, in that moment, how do you go, no, I know better than all of these people who
I never said I know better. I just...
Well, you have to feel that though to keep going, right? You have to believe that you know better. Look at, there's a picture of there's an album cover of the Police here, right? British band, the Police, famously, there's a lot of bands like this. Famously, first album, they go shopping and every record company says this is garbage. We don't want it. No. But finally they get signed and they become a hit band. So they knew they had to say, all of these people are wrong. Our music is good enough. We believe in it.
Because I could see it in the smile of the people who use it. That doesn't lie. I knew how much of my friends, like I built both Passage and Applyboard that I built. I built it for me. I built it the problem that I personally went through.
That's amazing.
I knew the problem is real. Now, whether the solution that we built at that time is solving that problem or not. When they were telling me this is not working, what they were saying It's not that the problem is not real. Saying, Martin, the solution that you guys developed is not addressing that problem. Your number of conversion, and then you basically go and learn from it, and you're like, oh, I should do it. Why did this person says it doesn't work? Because, for example, your conversion doesn't work, and then you go deep on it. It's like, why my conversion doesn't work? Oh, it seems like every day 1,000 people come to my homepage and not a single person apply to university. And then you go step by step. Okay, like what does user do? And then you figure it out. For example, you need to make your user behavior better or something. So like,
well, that's constructive criticism. I'm sure there were people who also said, you'll never make a business out of this.
But that's like from when I'm kid. From when I'm 6, people tell me like this doesn't work. I'm ignoring. When people just come to you and say like, don't do it. I always like say there's a couple of levels that people like go through it. Like when you want to do something, first your loved ones trying to like say, don't do it. Just be normal.
The loved ones.
Yeah. I remember
trying to protect at any cost.
Yeah, exactly. But like I remember when I was inventing at 14, my mom was like, or like before that, for example, when I wanted to start a computer shop to burn CDs and copy CDs and music for my friends.
I love it.
My father like, don't do it. People come and they steal you and they don't give you the money. They steal your CDs and they don't give you money. And they're like, always parents, they say, don't do it. Yeah. And after that, your friends laugh at you. Ha, 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 ha. Son of a, for example, engineer is selling CDs for like 15 cents each. Probably your dad doesn't give you money. Ha, 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 ha. And then they like laugh at you. Then you start becoming successful, and they're like, I always knew. I always knew this kid becomes successful. Like, weren't you like laughing at me? There's actually like some people between laughing and saying that you're gonna be successful, they actually go above and beyond to stop you for doing that. Right? They were like behind you, like someone called them and said, hey, how is this guy? And it's like, very bad guy, be very careful of doing these things. Or they come and intentionally do something that hurt you, or they go with anonymously put a bad review for you so you can't sell it or something. At the end of the story,
I was always there for you, brother. Yeah, I always supported you.
Like, I always knew it. From the first moment I knew. In fact, his idea was gained. One time he was talking to me, I gave him the idea, you know. It's okay.
But even when you were having success, I mean, there's a great story about how you get offered at some point. I don't know where this was in the development of the growth of Apply Board. You get offered $100 million. Somebody offers to buy it out for you. And as you tell the story later, you say you only had $1,500 in the bank. Like
1,406. I snapped.
So you could have used the money, and you say no to $100 million.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. Like, how do you rationalize that in that moment?
It was like it wasn't like only on money. It was like a multiple decision. I was 30 years old. This is 2018. We raised now some stuff is thinking working well. The company we were growing at between 2017 to 2018 at 10x. And we were experiencing a 10x growth for the following year. So within 2 years, our revenue was going 100 times. And which basically became actually like estimating we were like doing another 10x, but it actually like turned to be like 6x growth. So 600% growth in the revenue. It was fun. And this company came and they offered us couple of $100 million, and that company was bigger than our company, was only 80 people. And actually the gentleman, which I am still in touch, and I love that guy, he would have like basically make me CEO of both companies. I went to the other company and I saw I'm the youngest person, not even executive, and everywhere in the company, and everyone was so serious, and our company is so silly, and we were like doing like, we sit on the ground and laugh and drink coffee, and these guys are so serious. So that was one thing. So it wasn't like purely for the money. And then I was like, okay, so now I'm getting it. I don't want to quit my job. I'm not gonna like take the money and go to beach. I have to either stay around and building that, which by the way, my company is growing so faster. So let's see how it roll. And a little of it, I also didn't have a confidence of immediately go from like helping 80 people to like 500 people. It was a little scary at the time because everyone tell you like you can't do it. You just started to make a success. The other was I was like, okay, so let's say I get $100 million. Then what? I have to start another company, but I already have a company that is working
and that you love,
and I love, and people are saying this is such a good thank you so much for helping my life and everything. So it was a couple of different things, and also I remember I talked to my co-founder, my brother at the time, and he was always like so what? Like our life was like easy, and I remember at the time actually before I proposed my wife, I actually bought a home, and I put everything money I had in the home because the bank were not approving me at 20% down payment. I had to put 35% down payment because as an entrepreneur, your income, they don't count it. Which is crazy.
You don't have credit.
They don't count your income that you make from the company that you are running as.
What are you talking about?
When you go as a founder of a company to a bank, that was my experience. They're like, the income that you make, which is your only income, right? For my case, it doesn't count because it's
you mean the dividends you mean the salary that the company's paying?
The salaries doesn't count. So as a result, I convinced them at least give me a mortgage at 35% down. So I put everything I had in life, and I had to borrow from my siblings and get more money and putting it in to be able to meet that $200,000 to buy a $600,000 home. And I didn't have any money because for months, whatever I was saving it, I was giving it to them to pay back the debt and also pay the mortgage and everything. For some reason, it was so important for me before I proposed to my wife that I own a home. As a Persian boy, I had a home, and I had a old Audi TT, a convertible Audi TT.
How many homes do you have now?
I actually have only one home.
You have one home?
Yeah.
You're not somebody and you're always wearing a t-shirt. You're not somebody who likes to display your wealth. That's not something that you do, is it?
Display to others, you mean, or enjoying it yourself?
Well, I mean, do you have a fancy car?
I have a Tesla and a Ford Bronco.
Okay. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I mean, you're not. You're. It's not a McLaren. You're not running around showing everybody that I'm Martin Basiri. You have a series of Passage T-shirts. I've noticed that.
Yeah,
there's one with the big passage, one with the small passage. You're always on brand. You've got the brand sponsorship of your own company always on.
No, I love it. I love it because this. I actually give you a story about how.
I thought you were going to say you're going to give me a T-shirt. I would
sure
happily wear one.
Yeah, but finishing the last one, I have a good story why I always wear it too. So I didn't have money, and I could have cash out $100 million if I wanted, but it wasn't right. It didn't feel right, and I was like, let's roll, let's see what happened. And I always admired Mark Zuckerberg when he said no to $1 billion acquisition from Yahoo, and he would have walked out with $250 million, and someone says, why didn't you sell? And it takes the person to his room, and he only had a mattress on a room in a home, but he only rented a room, and said, that's my life. Do you think I need $250 million? So I always admired that. When I was growing up, I was watching all these entrepreneurs podcasts and interviews, and I was like, yes, I want to be like that. I want to be able to say no. And I think universe just gave me that opportunity, and I said no. Sometimes I think back and say, what would my life be if I said yes,
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship is you never know. It goes up, it goes down. Who knows what's the end of my story? I could have ended up having nothing, right? You've just seen me 10 years in,
Yes.
Is it
it seems like you're.
I
don't have any worries about you.
Again, it comes back from outsider. Always behind every successful thing that you see, there is a million failure and million challenges. But anyway, I said no, we said no, and it was a hell of a journey, ups and downs. I've done things that I never thought I would do in my life, and
Like what do you mean by
meeting
that?
people.
I see.
I've met so many important people, and I impacted so many things at a higher level.
Like what? What comes to mind if I say something?
Like,
when
for
you
example, I met top CEOs of all the banks. And I was so inspired by meeting these people. Like, what does it look like a CEO? Like, for example, Dave McKay, who run RBC. I have so much respect for him because I learned a lot from him. You know, watching him talk and seeing his post on LinkedIn and seeing his things, like, he put me in thinking, right? Wow, this is how it is. Or like, shout out to Toby from Shopify, or Mark Zuckerberg, or Elon Musk, or Joe Rogan, or all these successful people.
Did you meet those guys?
Like, I didn't meet Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk, but basically the other guys, like, basically here and there, I met them. And like, it would have never be possible if I just cashed out and I went on a beach. I would meet different type of people.
Yeah.
But
you're in the game. You're in the game.
But these are the type of people who inspire me, who they can at any time say a stop, but not only they don't say a stop, their imaginations keep getting better.
Just as a sidebar on someone like Elon Musk, or let's talk about Elon Musk, in fact, just because his name is everywhere all the time now, because most rational people seem to see him as a genius. I mean, what the guy's done, like, you created these incredible things that are shaping humanity in the 21st century. And at the same time, he's now quite outspoken in social media on his own platform, of course, as well. But and taking political positions. Do you look at that as a cautionary tale and say, I don't want to be that way? Or do you look at that and go, have at it? If you're the most powerful guy in the world, or, enter whatever debate you want to enter.
So you're learning it. I don't know the answer to all of them. Like, to some extent, he's having impact at a level that maybe no human being had ever had an impact. Like, see what he did with Tesla. One of the reasons I have a Tesla because I really love it and I want to support him and his journey of like building high-end car and showing that it is possible. The entrepreneurship is possible. You can build a car company in America after a century and being successful. And in fact, being so successful that all other car companies combined is not even like valued as much as yours. And they're trying
to copy it.
But everyone tried to copy it.
But I'm talking about his political impact.
Like, that's not my game. I don't pay attention to the part that not my game. I pay attention to the part that I like. Like, show me a human being that is perfect and everything about them you like. I don't even like everything about myself. How do I judge another person when I say, oh, I like that thing that you do and you can do better?
You posted about, say, Mahsa Amini. Is that something that you had to think about, or were you like, what should I do that? I've got a big, I've got a company. I don't want to be political, or did that come naturally for you? No, I'm going to take these kind of positions.
No, of course I take a position on Mahsa Amini. And even in Canada, like, I took position on immigration a lot because I care about the country and people. Like, all I'm doing is, besides like having fun as an entrepreneur, is also, as I told you, like, the part that enjoys the most is when I have impact on the society in a positive way. What happened with Mahsa Amini was like not like one incident. It was one incident among 30 incidents. Like I told you before, I wanted to stay in Iran and do this thing in Iran. I believe I was like, if everyone leave Iran, who will stay here and build it? And when Green Movement happened in 88, in 2009, right? That's the time I said, like, no, I'm gonna get out. Like,
do you feel guilty at all that you left Iran?
Of course not. I feel amazing because I flourish when I get out, and I can probably have more.
But Iran
impact.
is missing Martin Basiri now.
I'm missing Iran too. I miss my home. I want to go back so badly. I want to go and sit down in my backyard and smell the gol mahbube, smell that flower, and eat from the trees that we I planted walnut tree.
Wow.
My mom, when she comes, she brings me sometimes the walnut, and I want to sit down behind that tree and enjoy the shade that it provides. But I can't go because of the political situations that I took, you know. And not only on Masa Amini, before that, I was always like, don't take my freedom. I'll say whatever I think is suited, and sometimes I pay consequence like that. Like I don't go to Iran because on Masa Amini I took a position. But that this is when I'm looking at myself, and I'm always like on decisions, I have one caliber, one test, and it's an 80-year-old test. So I always like imagine I'm 80-year-old sitting on a cottage, and it's beside a lake, and I'm looking at the view, and I'm thinking about something about my life. Would I smile about the decision that I made, or I regret? I'm pretty sure when I'm 80 years old, standing up for women of Iran, standing up for freedom of people of Iran, including me, is something that brings me a smile.
Yeah.
And say, yes.
Why'd you pick 80?
I don't know. Maybe that's because it's the average age of people, you know. 90, who cares? Like at the end of your life, when your grandchildren are playing around and you think about something your life said, would you regret? And that's why I don't give up, because every time, if anything, I'm like, I want to give up and say like, would I regret? I always regret right now. When you said, hey, do you see yourself widely successful? I said, no. It's because I look at past. I said, I could have taken more risk. I could have done more initiative. I could have done more. I only regret for the things that I've didn't do and I should have done, right? I don't regret for the risks that I took and those things, right?
But honestly, that would be a big takeaway of our conversation today for me.
The 80-year rule?
No, not that. That too. No, I would say if I were writing a headline, I mean, there's a few, but I would say Martin Basiri has trouble saying he's successful. That says something about you to me. That says something about you to me. That says that you are, you're certainly not comfortable resting on your laurels. You don't want to sort of say, I've done it all. I'm fine now. You're hungry. You're hungry for more. You're looking back, saying, I could have done that differently. You said something earlier, like this could be so much bigger than what I've done. That says something about you.
Yeah.
What do you think it says?
He's living the life that he wants to live.
No, that's not what it says. That's not what it says. Not being able to say you're successful says something about your psyche for someone who's as successful as you are.
Like, again, like, what is the measure of success, right? And like, if you measure success in the long run.
Who is successful? Who is an example of someone who's successful in your mind?
I think every single people who work in healthcare, to me, the fact that they devoted their life, they're very successful. To me, like nurses, doctors, dentists,
people who are making a difference,
people who is impacting positive impact. To me,
aren't you doing that?
I think to some extent I'm doing it. I think all the teachers that, despite the low salaries, they're every day go with a smile to teach the young generation. I think they're very, very successful in their life, and I really having a huge respect for them. In the categories of entrepreneurship, like there are a lot of entrepreneurs like from that build giant companies that change the world. Like start from Thomas Edison to like a Steve Jobs to like Bill Gates and all these other people that they invented things that forever our life is changed. And also the people who necessarily not about as being successful, but they're like they change our life in a good way. For me, again, like you have to see what you see as why you came to this world for. And I think my curiosity is given somehow to build something great that make people's life so much better. And when I'm looking at it, I help the companies that I started between the two companies help a little over 1 million students
Wow.
with their education and the path to applying, and a couple of 100,000 of them successfully went through it. And that number compared to 450 million people that they need to be in university or college right now and they're not, it's so small. So I don't see even I achieved even 1% of the big goal, and that's why like success comes. Sometimes the problem you want to solve, it's just so big that you might have done something but it doesn't seem big because of the problem is giant. So that's basically what I wanted to say. Like, for example, like Facebook or like Meta as a company, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and all the Messenger, they touch about 3.5 billion people a year. So it is possible to, in this world, to do something that touch 1 billion people life. And I only in 10 years helped 1 million people, right? So if you...
Although I wouldn't necessarily classify Facebook touching 3 billion people as a good thing in some cases. The jury's out on whether Facebook has been a positive for society or not.
100% it has been positive. 100%.
Not 100%.
100% is a net positive. If you do all the positive things it did in the world and all the negative things it did the world, 100% is a net positive. Did it do a lot of... This tool is a powerful tool. It's like a knife. So many
social
people
media in general has created half of the problems we have in the 21st century.
And
anxiety, loneliness, polarization of society, war, people hating on each other, aggression. I mean, all of those things. I mean, disinformation, misinformation. I mean,
I see the other positive side.
Yeah, but 100%.
I said 100%
net positive.
Is a net positive to the society. 100%. When you see 3.5 billion people... Is
he paying you, Zuckerberg? Has he got shares in your...
I wish he was paying me. Please invest in my companies.
Let me ask you a question.
It would be my honor to have him.
Let me ask you something about Applyboard, because almost all of what I've read about it is so positive. How do you, Martin, how do you mitigate? How do you make sure that, some would argue that these international recruitment platforms can lead to a commodification of education. It just makes it about a profit transaction. Bring the student here, in some cases spit them out and send them back. How do you prevent that? How do you work against that?
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought it up, because I'm also learning as it goes, so I don't have a full formula. I can tell you like a step by step of the last 10 years how I thought about it. At the first, I just build a tool that can help students with the process of application processing, right? And then like agents and stuff started using it, and then universities said, oh, this is pretty cool tool to recruit students, and it became bigger and bigger. So I was like an Amazon, right? I said, my job is to make the transaction cheaper, faster, and more convenient. My job is to make the path for students to apply to whatever they want faster, cheaper, more convenient, right? So I wasn't ever in a position of now telling the society what should they do, what should they study, not should they study, which school they should go or not. I said, I put everything on a platform, on a marketplace. Like when you go to Amazon, you see a cup that is $100 and you see a cup that is 75 cents. Amazon necessarily doesn't tell you which one to buy. They can run ads to be on the platform and be more visible. But at the end of the story, you can sort it by price and go buy a 75 cents, even though maybe that 75 cents, you only have a cup for 1 week because it breaks easily, right? It's giving you the choice. But what Amazon does, it delivers you the product as faster, cheaper, and more convenient. So that was my mindset when I started Applyboard, and it's like basically that's what we built. And I was always like under the understanding that at something like immigration in a country like Canada or United States, UK, and US, the governments and the ministries and the provincial governments and the universities and colleges, they have all these controls in place. And as we became like more successful and became bigger and met these people and talked to them and have questions and conversations and hard questions and seeing the level of understanding, it started developing to the thing that like as the company grows, so do the responsibility to do the job of other people that they're not doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm right now in that phase of my life that it says, yes, you are this, but as well, since you have been given the opportunity to do this, you need to do more, because universities and colleges don't do that.
Yeah.
For example, like when I started looking at the graduation rate and risk of like how many business students in business degrees, universities and colleges are training international students compared to how many jobs it exists. Because as you know, like teaching business degrees is extremely easy for universities. They can scale it very fast. It doesn't have labs. They can bring teachers so much. You can run it on your own. A lot of them can be asynchronous, so you don't have to be necessary in the classroom. You can be online. So it's easy to scale. So when
thanks for saying, as you know, I didn't necessarily know that,
so,
but I appreciate it.
And it's very, very profitable for universities. But when I started seeing that the students are now struggling to find jobs because the number of jobs and the number of the students are graduating from business degrees are very different.
Right.
I started being vocal about it to all of these levels, from university level, to like colleges and universities, to provincial government, to federal governments. Like, guys, the student from Iran or India that come to Canada and study this, they think you guys done your homework and this thing is needed.
Well,
like, you can have the entire country, 10,000 jobs for business degrees, and one university alone graduating 5,000 business degrees, for example. I was under understanding that there's someone in the government checking all of these things, and they do. I'm not saying they don't do all of it, but sometimes the data is so fragmented that they don't see all of it, or it takes time for them to develop an action. And I now in that phase of my life that I'm realizing that I need to be more proactive than reactive. I need to be more proactive, and like I need to think things at a more macro level versus I'm just like, I'm doing this and this is what it is. I'm like, let's truly systematically build the solution. And that's why I started Passage, to build a company that's a true solution for immigration, right? For exactly what we need at Canada and what we need in the US, right? For example,
can I just, I mean, what do you, when you talk about the promises that are made to students, prospective international students who come here, I'm curious to get your take on the changes. I don't want to be too Canada-centric here because people are listening to us or watching us around the world, but with respect to Canada, and we've talked about this on the show recently, in fact, the immigration change, the sudden immigration policy changes that have left some people who came here as international students thinking that that's going to be a gateway to staying here, getting work permit, etc., now being told, actually, we're potentially going to send you back.
That was the advertisement. Like, Edu-Canada was government body, and all of these big fairs that Edu-Canada was attending or running it, that was the social contract that if you come to this country, you get educated, you play by the rules, you will given the opportunity to work for 3 years after your studies.
Yeah.
If you study basically in the right DLIs that government approves, and tell people these DLIs, these designated learning institutions are approved, and because you're educated in our country and you work, and if you play by all the rules, you will be given a fair shot to stay. That was always the advertisement. Come, experience, travel, study, work, stay. That was always the thing that the government saying, I don't want my educated people to leave, because if you're looking at how much money immigrants make, between different class of immigrants, by far international students make 2 to 3 times.
But it's not what they're
more
saying
income.
now. Now they're saying, you're going to have to go home.
Sure. I'll
because of their own, in my opinion, bad immigration policies of letting in too many people or without a plan.
Let me break it down for you to
Sure.
you understand exactly what it is. So when you look at the income of the people, like immigration, we bring immigrant not just because we need more people, because we basically looking at it, we have a need, our labor market is growing, our population naturally declines because we are basically more people dies than people like coming to the labor market. More people
didn't
retire.
need 3 million people over 2 years.
Yeah, hear me out. So basically, they say, and when you look at all the immigrants that came to this country or to United States, the ones that educated here, they carrying Canadian education, are far more successful in earning income and paying tax than any other class.
Sure.
So that's number one.
Yes.
So if any class of immigrant you want to prioritize is these people, and that's how it was done. What happened during COVID, every single company had a problem with labor because the participation rate came down. A lot of people went home, they were consuming, government was just printing money because they were like looking at the economy. That was something that they never experienced before. And what happened, it created a massive labor shortage. What government, and the number of net new immigrants came to the country because the borders were closed in 2020 and 2021 declined massively. So up to 2020, government was doing actually pretty good job, right? And I just want to be fair as well. Every single company, like I remember, we couldn't hire even like receptionists.
No, there was a reason for there was a time for a corrective.
Exactly.
Yeah, that they had to.
And what happened was end of 2020, like in 2022 and 2023, that's the time that they didn't listen to the all new signals. So basically, the inflation went up. They knew they need to like raise the interest rate very fast. But then they didn't say, wait a minute, if I'm raising the interest rate very fast, the economic activity will come down, the company is going to hire less or even fire people, then I need to also adjust my immigration.
Yeah.
So up to 2020, I don't think government did like...
No, there's no problem.
After that, like 2022, you could even like still argue that labor shortage was massive. We didn't even, like if it wasn't because of the immigrants, we couldn't even get our Uber Eats at home, right? Like all immigrants, I'm not just talking about students. What the problem was the second half of 2022 and 2023 when they acted too late. And the other thing that happened during COVID time, universities learned...
They didn't act at all. Up until 2024.
They were acting, but they were acting
late. Just let 3 million people were let into Canada from 2021 to 2024.
Yeah.
Or even less that 2.5 years over a period of 2.5 years.
Yeah.
That's unworkable. There wasn't a plan for that.
And remember,
and the people who are paying the price now are those international students,
and because the
who
government
were promised that they, as you say, that they could stay here.
Yeah, because that's one of the things that federal government can point a finger to provinces and to universities and said there's their fault, like in an election year, and normally it doesn't talk about all the other things that there were things like, for example, like over 300,000 Ukrainians come to Canada. Right? It was over 1 million special visas given to Ukrainian to respond to that. I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just saying government never talks about it. That 1% of our population is Ukrainian. So when they talk about the total number, they never break it down and they show it to the public as if all of them were international students.
Right. Yeah.
They're not talking about, for example, like, for Iranians, they gave this, whoever Iranian come here can stay here for 3 years. Like tens of thousands of people. Like I don't know exact number. I think at least it should be 100,000 people use that. So they're not talking about all these people that are on work visa.
Yeah.
And they're not talking about that you used to not be able to get a student visa if you were 30 years old. And during 2022, 2023, the standard went that, you are like 45-year-old, you just come to Canada, and now you can't get the CRS score to stay here. So things became so loose the last 2 years of it, right? And now we are seeing the consequences. On the positive side of it, now that they basically learned like the lesson, like if you look at it in the long run, it's better for our immigration. What I'm worried about now, the reaction to that being loose is so much that now it is scaring the super top talent out.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
can see
want to
that.
lose the master's students go to University of Waterloo and McGill or Toronto to go to US. You want them here. Those are our entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
You don't want the doctors.
It's so
you,
clunky.
you don't want Canada to be
yeah.
a non-immigrant friendly country.
Yes.
And that's why I'm very worried about it. We are not talking about the magnitude of people. I'd rather have 100,000 people come to Canada and the top 100,000 people come to Canada rather than bring 500,000 people or a million people, and they're bringing the people that necessarily they're not are the right skill set for Canada, right? Like, for example, if you look at our country, we need healthcare people, we need trades people, we need manufacturing. Almost all of them, they need Canadian education and certification. Because the hospitals don't want to just bring someone says, oh yeah, go practice. And with a different standard and like the patient dies. Like we have certain standards. You don't want just like someone come here and said, oh yeah, I'm an electrician. Like in Iran, you don't go become an electrician. You just learn to become an electrician. That's why we have so much fires. You don't want to right now this building go fire and it turns out the electrician didn't know their job. So you want a level of control. And that's why in Canada and United States, there are those certifications. Now, I'm not going to argue which one is correct, which one is not right, and what level of certification, but we all can agree when you go to a hospital, you want to make sure your nurse know what they're doing.
Sure.
Right? So we need nurses in these countries. And we need nurses who are educated enough to our standard. And what the data shows that you can't just bring a nurse from India or Iran and just put them in a hospital here.
Yeah.
So you need a better transition, and that's why basically what we do at Passage, we bring people, we put them in nursing schools in Canada, so they graduate with a Canadian standard. We bring people and they go to like welding school in Canada.
How do people find you?
They find us like through social media, through my network that
like someone
built.
sitting in Mashhad and they can find Passage.
Yeah, and they can apply. Like for example, we brought many girls from Afghanistan that they were medical students. They were going to become a doctor. Unfortunately, Taliban kicked them out of a school, and now they're here in Canada. And now they're going to like become, for example, a nurse or practical nurse. So we finance their way. Or there were like a lot of people from Africa that coming for this field that necessarily Canadians don't want to study them, or we are having 10 people retiring for every 2 people entering the field. Right? So not only today is a shortage, if you do the graph, we're going to have a massive shortage in the coming decade in healthcare and trades. And basically that's basically what happened. So, and the reason that you see governments don't do very good job in immigration is because it's extremely complex problem. And also it's not like you say, oh, I want to bring all the brightest people in the world, and all the brightest people also have options. They can go to Singapore. They can go to Dubai, tax-free country. They live their life. They can go to United States. They can go to Canada. They can go to UK. They can go everywhere on planet Earth. You need to compete for the best talent. As the company, same thing. You can't just sit down here and say, oh, I want a best software developer to come work for me. Like, why should they come work for you? They can go to Google. They can go to Apple. They can go to other companies.
Okay.
You need to fight as a country for the best and brightest people, period.
Okay. I can't keep you here forever. So again, that's the perseverance thing, right? You got an idea that you love, keep going with it.
No plan B.
No plan B. Don't consider anything else.
Nothing.
Seems short-sighted, but I'm sitting in front of someone who's lived it and done it very well. 2 final questions.
The moment you bring plan B to your plan A is going down.
Because you're suggesting that you don't have enough confidence in plan A.
Yeah, you're not putting all of your things.
You're not being smart by having a backup plan.
Always a good plan. You basically look at the different options in that plan. Plan B, when it is like, for example, say like, when I was inventing in high school, my plan A was to win Khwarazmi Festival and enter university with it. I didn't spend same amount of time to also study for concours, for the university entrance exam. I would have never been as successful in inventing, right? Or when I wanted to come abroad, if you don't attend the university in Iran, you need to go to military service. So for me, it was like, okay, I want to get out of here and I want to go to Canada or US to go to study. But I went all in on it.
Yeah.
I didn't spend time to now also study for master's degree entrance exam, right? I just went for that. So I have this thing to say, like, nuke plan B. So your plan A, you must succeed plan A.
Two final questions about back to the entrepreneur in terms of what you see in people and what you how you carry yourself. First of all, if somebody would want to work for Martin Basiri, if somebody wants to come to you, you have a huge team. It keeps growing. What do you look for in somebody? What's the quality that you most look for when you're hiring somebody?
Hungry. If you're hungry, you want to be someone in life. Does
hungry trump experience?
Oh, 100%.
100%. You'll take a hungry person over somebody who's got lots of experience.
Correct.
Does hungry trump education?
Normally hungry people, they got pretty good education as well. They've done good in what they were accessible to them. Yeah, they got it. That's why they went to good school. That's why they were hungry enough to study, to get good marks, to go to a good university, to do well. Yeah. Normally these two are actually correlated, not...
It's true.
Yeah.
What do you...
Like non-hungry people say, I don't care if I go to this school or this school, but 100% no, I need to go to a good school. That's the only thing I have.
Does the hungriness carry on for the rest of our lives?
No.
Are you still hungry?
I am still hungry.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, it become comfortable. Life become comfortable very soon when you start making it. Your mindset things shift.
Do you believe it's important to stay hungry?
Depends on what you want. Like listen, if for example someone inspired to go, let's say someone get to where I got, then you have like access to money to some extent, like not a lot, but like to be comfortable life. Instead, I want to go and travel every single country in the world and city in the world, and I want to live in different things. If you are inspired to do that, sure, like you are hungry for a new thing. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, I'm hungry to see these 450 million people who need to go to universities and colleges. I'm hungry for that right now in my life. You know, maybe life change. You know, maybe at some point I say, I'm hungry for something else. Right?
How often do you take time off?
Every weekend I take taking 2 days my time off. Right?
Exactly.
Like,
you're spending your time off coming and doing an interview. Do you clearly check your phone on your day off?
Yeah.
So do you ever really shut off?
Yeah, like a couple of times in my life I've done that. One of it was one Christmas that I went to Mexico with my wife. I literally shut off my phone. Not phone, but like work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there were a couple of times.
In your life.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
Sometimes good, most time boring. Like the thing is, like a lot of things that look from outside, you may say it's just, I love it. Like I want to look at the numbers, see how it's moving. I want to test the new product, and my engineering team worked so hard on it. And the fact that like I messaged in the middle of a vacation, so like, hey guys, I love this new feature, which I truly enjoy that. Like, I think it's important for them to also see that it's not like we are here and working for someone who is like taking time off in Italy, for example.
But what do you think that on top of the hungriness, passion? I mean, you're passionate about what you do. You're clearly even most of this interview, when you've talked about your work, you have a smile on your face.
Yeah, but also even like when, for example, let's say we have a party at home, and my job is to now make kebab. I'm even at that time I'm as passionate. Like whenever you do something. That's your personality. Yeah, whenever you do something, put best of it into it. You know what I'm saying? Like If you are making the kebab, you can sit down and say, oh, like I hate this, or say like, damn, I gotta make the best kebab possible, you know, like good or bad, I gotta like bring a smile to other people. So if it's not good, at least they see, you know, like he made it with love, right? In life become easier, you know, like work as an entrepreneur is hard. I told you all the good part of it. It's hard. It's personal. Failing is hard. When you work 14, 15 hours is hard. Not seeing your family, missing birthdays, not going to vacations, not like day and night you work, going back home downtown Toronto like 11 o'clock at night when it's like walk in and you still say, oh, I couldn't even finish all of my work today, is hard. Not watching the movies, not watching the games, not going to games, not seeing your friends as often that they see each other, seeing your friends that they have fun on Instagram and you are in the office is hard. But you have to know what you're doing. You know, like with no sacrifice, no big success comes out of it. So when you get rejected, if you think, yeah, like this is what it is, or you can say, I can be better. Why am I getting rejected from smart people? What am I doing wrong that this is happening? And like the formula, every super successful human being you see in your life, they are being worked to get there. I don't want to be given. I don't want to be given just success. Like, oh, here you go. I don't want to win. I'm not saying I don't want to win lottery. I would love to like have a lot of money for nothing. But gaining it, it's so joyful. You know, gaining success, reaching, like seeing other people use what you build, seeing other people come to you and say thankful for what you built, seeing other people like the girls that we brought from Afghanistan and they're going to college and now, like, for example, one of them is working in a hospital and making $20 an hour or like 20 something an hour. Just like seeing their life change that much is just so fun, right? And then you hit your work or whatever you do, some days that are terrible, some days are tough. It goes to your soul. It's like a stab on your back. Sometimes even closest people to you do something so mean and so personal that is hard to watch and experience it in life. Don't think the life of an entrepreneur is easy. That's why, like, I have a lot of respect for these entrepreneurs that I told you. Yeah. Because I know how hard it is at my level. Set aside to these guys' level. Like from outside, you always like see the success of it. You never see how hard it is when all of your family are gathering and you are in the office and you're like, damn, they're eating a good kebab now and they're dancing, and you come home and you just ask, how was it? They were like, oh, we missed you. You know, it's hard to see your parents are aging and you are not with them 24/7. Yeah. It's hard to see that, but I'm a human being as well. I'm not a robot. I'm not a machine. Love what you do, because it's hard to achieve things that you want to do. And if you don't love it, your life would be miserable. And I tell everyone, love what you do, even if you're working in a coffee shop or if your job is to clean or do, love it, because if you're spending 5, 6, 10, 20, 15 hours a week to all the way to like 40, 60, 80, 100, 120 hours a week, if you don't like it, a portion of your life, you are doing something that you don't enjoy. Here. So, and you can fake it. You don't have to really love it. Like if you're cleaning this table, you can say, oh, damn it, why am I cleaning? Or at the same time, I can sing and just dance a little bit while you're doing it. You know, every time in the company I go to bathroom, when I'm looking at myself in the mirror, when I'm washing things, I say, damn, that's a handsome boy. And then I go out like with a smile. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I can go say like, fuck this life, and then go out, you know, and then other people that see me are like, oh, well, why is he upset? Or they can see me with the biggest smile. because all the stress of the world comes to you. You know, like when you're playing like at a level that, for example, I'm playing, when you are raising hundreds of millions of dollars from other investors, you have responsibility. You know, you have responsibility. Life is stressful. Again, like, I don't know about other entrepreneurs, like, but most of the entrepreneurs I've seen in my life, they're carrying a level of stress and pressure that is massively more than what the average people experience in their own companies. You know what I'm saying? And normally, like, you look from outside to their life, you only see the positive side of it. That's why, for example, like, even if I see an entrepreneur have a beautiful Ferrari or something, I clap for them. Say, good, enjoy it. You know, I am yet in my life to experience those things and love them, but I don't hate it. I love the beautiful car or something. It just, I'm not there yet to say, hey, let's start like experience those other things, because I love the other things more.
You're too busy.
Yeah, I'm
too busy for a Ferrari.
I'm pretty sure at some point of my life, I also want to like experience those other things, you know. Maybe not. Maybe I keep going.
Maybe.
There is something from like a video clip from Bruce Lee that says like, be water, my friend. You've seen that?
No, but I get it. Or I probably have seen it. I mean,
like, be water, my friend. If you put it in a cup, become a cup. If you put it on a table, become flat. You kind of like let it go, you know. I'm from Shiraz, and in Shiraz, people are like more chill to life. Whatever happens, you know, like, you can't control everything. Just like, sometimes you have to just let it go.
After everything you've just said about hardship and 16-hour days, but chill, just be chill.
Chill, like, enjoy whatever
Martin
comes at the end
Basiri,
of the story.
it has been what a journey it's been for the last couple of hours. I am so grateful. I really am. I'm so grateful that you came and sat here, did this in our studio.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful for your wisdom and sharing your experiences with us. I'm grateful to know you and to be getting to know more of you. Thank you for doing this, brother.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope you're having a great 2025. I don't
have a choice now. I have to love everything I do.
Yes.
Martin Basiri told me.
I actually wanted to ask you one of the things, like, what are your plan for 2025? Because I did all the talking, but like, maybe you can tell us.
Well,
like, at the
you're
end.
on my show. I'll come on your show and you can ask me questions.
Sure.
About 2025.
Maybe I have to make a show now. Oh, damn it.
You too. We'll produce it for you. Great to see you, brother.
Great to see you as well. Thank you.
All right, what a conversation. Martin Basiri, thank you again for being here in the Roqe Studio. Love to hear from you guys about that interview or any of the content or any of the ideas that we debated. Producer at roqemedia.com. Producer at roqemedia.com is where you can reach us. You can give your thoughts. If you actually go to our website, there's a place for feedback there. roqemedia.com is the website. Or, of course, post on whatever platform you happen to be listening to this on or watching this. That's it. Remember, Roqe Live 4, 3 weeks from today, February 6, 2025. We'll see you there at the City Playhouse. In the meantime, we'll see you next week right here on this program. Thank you to the amazing team who put this show together each week. Super Parisa, Smart Pega, Seppi Wonder, Savvy Roham, Tina, the photo and video queen. Special thanks to Bearded Omi, Talented Anahita, Methodical Kaveh, Solid Samin, and our brother Amir Jamshidi. Thank you to all of you out there for supporting us. Thanks for sharing our content. You can share anything you see on the show. We like it when you do that. We also like it when you subscribe. So if you haven't subscribed already, or you're one of those inactive subscribers, turn on the notifications so you can know when the shows are coming up. Find us on Instagram at Roqe Media. Find me on Instagram at Jian Ghomeshi. Stay in touch. Spread the word. Be good. And as ever, as my uncle would say, Mizun Bashin.